Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey, CEO of the World Floor Covering Association, and this is Leadership Live. I want to take a moment to thank those of you who have offered a note of encouragement or maybe some constructive criticism on how we can make this time more valuable to you. I also want to challenge those of you who are utilizing these posts to share them on social media so that together we can have a positive impact on leadership at the local level, within our homes, churches, community, certainly within our industry and within the world. Speaking of the world, these are some crazy, crazy times. So we go from a worldwide pandemic that basically halts our country to a needless, senseless, disgusting murder of a human being, George Floyd, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where he basically has his life suffocated out of him. The response to that is what brought about the catalyst for my talk with you today. Some people have used this positively to raise their voices and say it is not acceptable for any human being to be treated that way. They have used the concept of peaceful protest that was made so popular by Martin Luther King Jr. Unfortunately, others have used it as an opportunity to act out and to riot. They have hijacked the story of George Floyd, and that's unfortunate. So I want to share three things with you today. First, I want you to understand that leadership is not based on one's race. It's not based on their ethnicity. It is not based on their sex. Leadership is not about the color of one's skin. It is about the content of one's character. In fact, Martin Luther King Jr., who I've already mentioned, made this statement famous in his I Have a Dream speech when he said these words: "I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will grow up in a nation where they are no longer judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." That is leadership. Now, I have a weak spot for Martin Luther King because in my mind, he's one of the greatest leaders our nation has ever known. Through peaceful protest, he created change not only in his lifetime, but change that outlived him. Maybe nobody has done more to change the core beliefs of America than Martin Luther King Jr. The second principle I want to share with you is that leadership in itself is neither good nor bad. There are good leaders and there are bad leaders. If you're in the middle portion of your life like I am, you've probably experienced both. I remember one leader that I had at a previous place of employment who, when he became my boss, took me out to lunch and he said, "Listen, I want to help you get to the next level and grow within this organization." I said, "Man, tell me what I need to do." He said, "You need to cuss more and drink more." And I said, No, seriously." And he said, "No, I'm serious. People need to understand that you're real." And I said, "Well, what if I don't want to be that kind of real? I just want to be my best." And he didn't have an answer to that. Listen, I've had the privilege of speaking to groups of 10 and to groups of 10,000. I've never had a single organization call me and say, "Scott, we need you to come and speak to us because we heard you can cuss a blue streak." That is not a criteria for leadership, but that's what a negative leader does. They try to impose on you the characteristics they see in themselves. Finally, the last principle, and the one I hope you pay the most attention to, is that leadership always begins within. Little Timmy was 8 years old, loved his daddy, but his daddy traveled all week and he was home on the weekend. So he wanted to spend time with daddy on the weekend, and daddy just wanted to relax and veg out. So on this particular Sunday, he has that thick Sunday paper. He sits back in the lazy boy chair. By the way, there's never been a more appropriate name for a piece of furniture. He has the remote control on the end table next to him, and he has assumed the position. But little Timmy keeps coming up and saying, "Daddy, can we do something together?" "Yeah, in a minute, Timmy. In a minute, Timmy." Timmy's not getting the hint. About that time, daddy turns a page in the paper and there's a full page ad, and the organization's ad has a picture of the earth from outer space, that satellite picture we're used to. And daddy has an idea. He takes that picture of the earth and rips it up into about 50 different pieces, mixes it all up, reaches over and grabs a roll of tape out of the end table. It says, "Timmy, come here. I want us to spend some educational time together. What I have here is a puzzle of the earth. I want you to get it put back together. And when you get it put back together, you come back to me and we'll do whatever you want to do." Well, Timmy walks away kind of dejected. He realizes that his dad probably just doesn't want to spend time with him. His dad realizes that he's probably gained an hour, maybe an hour and a half, because Timmy don't even know how the earth fits together. He sits back in that chair and assumes a position. About 10 minutes later, Timmy's back. He said, "Hey, Daddy, I finished. Can we spend some time together now?" Now listen, it wasn't perfect. He's 8 years old, but everything was where it's supposed to be. His dad said, "Yeah, but Timmy, how did you do that? You don't even know how the earth fits together." He said, "Well, Daddy, I turned all the pieces over on the back and there was a picture of a person. And when I got the person put together, the world just fell into place." That's my mic drop. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a leader, focus on getting the person right first. then you've earned the right to impact the world around you. Leadership is not about a color of skin. It's not a red, yellow, black, or white issue. It's not a male or female issue. Leadership is about the content of one's character. And just because you're a leader doesn't mean you're a good one. Leadership can be good, but it can also be bad. But every time, the best leaders always understand leadership starts from within. If you want to change the world, change the person first. Now go out there and lead.